back. Enjoy this little segment with me. You're gonna ask me a few questions. Hopefully I'm able to answer all your questions. Remember, you're talking, I got a lot of years. I'm 81 years old, and I'm digging up graves, man. It's hard to remember. So I'm not gonna be 100% on the money. You gotta forgive that. When you're my age, I won't be around, think about what I said. If you can remember a quarter of what I'm saying, you're doing good. Salute.
Okay, Frank, this next question is from Frank Stallone. And Frank, I apologize. I don't have the question sitting right in front of me, so I'm sorry if I misquote you a little bit. But he wants to know, when in your life, at what point did you realize that there's no going back, that you would never be able to go legitimate and be in the mob?
Well, a shout out to you, Frankie. I know Frank very well. He's a very dear, close friend of mine. He's a good guy. I'm going to answer that question a little later on in this segment. Is that all right? I hope you understand. I got a few things I want to talk about before that. But I just wanted you to know Frank and I are tight.
Grab your favorite brew, ask a question, he'll answer it for you. The mafia, the mafia, the mafia, the mafia. You better hit prescribe if you know what's good for you. Drinking a cup of coffee with Frank Cullotta, he'll tell you a lot. He's Frank Cullotta.
JW wants to know, good stuff, Frank. Can you talk or know anything about the outfit, unions, Democrats, and voter fraud?
Well, as long as there's wind, oxygen, there's always going to be voter fraud. That's human nature. When I lived in Chicago, did I know about Democrats and Republicans? Did I care? No. But I knew it was a Democratic city. But I knew the Democrats were a lot different in Chicago than they were anywhere else in the country. The unions, that wasn't my job. I do know that we control the unions, a lot of unions, especially the Teamsters. Was I involved in it? No. But if they asked me to get involved in it, I would have been. You don't do things unless you're told to do them.
Johnny Nono's Difronzo video, you were talked that you guys were racing cars.
Yeah.
Right? And you won. This is from Chris Berg. Frank, I got to know what Ford that was.
It was that Ford was a 1961 Ford, two-door with a column shift and a 390 engine with positive traction. That's what they called the back, positive traction. So it wouldn't fishtail. So every gear I hit, that front end used to stay up in the air. And it fishtailed for a fraction of a second. And then it would pull you straight. And it was three in the column and a reverse. I kicked all their asses. They all had four bangers on the floor. They had a Pontiac and a Chevy and a I believe it was a Dodge. They had a Dodge with a blower, supercharger. I whipped all their asses.
Okay, this is from George Ortiz. Hi, Frank. I'm a resident of Melrose Park, Illinois. I know Joey Aiello lived there. It was always a heavy mob presence there. Are you familiar with the restaurant Slicker Sam, a spot in Melrose Park that Frank Sinatra would hang out about?
Everybody hung out there. Slicker Sam's. He used to have clams. He'd take the street and sell the clams in the street. It was a good joint. Slicker Sam's. It might even still be there. I don't even know. But yeah, I know the place. I used to go there. We used to go there once a week. They don't sell these baked clams out here and all these other places. Over there, they have baked clams. Good.
All right, Swamp Fox M asked, Frank, did you ever go to Jillys in New York City in the early 70s?
No, I never went to Jillys. Although I know Jilly's son, I know who Jilly was with Frank Sinatra. I never had no dealings with him.
Teddy Googs said, I prescribed and loved the channel. Did you have any chance to meet Santo Trafficante or Carlos?
They're from New Orleans, Trafficante. They call him the Silent Dawn. He come out with a book. Somebody come out with a book called The Silent Dawn. and they're trying to do a movie on it right now about Trafficante. Did I know him personally? No. Did I know he was powerful? Yeah, he was very quiet, very quiet. And not many people knew too much about him.
So Frank, you told me that you owned a piece of property across from Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Yeah, I did. I was very, very fortunate and also unfortunate. When I got out of prison in 1974, I was already informed that this guy by the name of Robert Allen, not the Robert Allen to be confused with that lived in Vegas. He was a slumlord. And he knew of somebody that I knew very well. And he used to, they talk about me. People used to talk about me before I got out. So this guy said, I could do something for Frank. He says, I'm trying to get some property. He says, by Wrigley Field. And I could use Frank, and he don't need no money. It'd be a legitimate business. So this friend of mine told me about it, and I said, it's too good to be true. So I went to this guy's property. He was a slumlord. It was in a black neighborhood. He owned a black hotel. All black people stood in there. And, it was a dangerous neighborhood, let's put it like that. So I met the guy, and the guy presented this idea to me. And it sounded a little corny. So I met him a couple of days later, and we went to a cab company owned a part of this property. It was on the corner of Clark and Addison. The address was 5555 Clark Street. Right across the street was Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs played. You could park 16 cars on this property, and there was a gas station standing there with a pit where you pull them in and you go underneath the ground and you work them. And this guy had all his wrecked cabs there. So we went over to the guy's property, his other property, and Bob Allen told the guy that we'd like to purchase the property. And the guy said, well, it's not for sale. Then Bob says, oh, if I offer you, I believe it was $30,000, would you take it? Now, when I got out of jail, I had $30,000. But I was told by Robert Allen that he had connections in a bank that he could get the $30,000 on a loan for this property. Makes sense because it was valuable property. And why couldn't he go somewhere else and sell it? That's what I was thinking. Well, I was the muscle. I didn't realize that I was being used as the muscle. Because I just got out of jail. I wanted to do something legit. My intentions were being legit when I got out of jail. Legit. I didn't want to steal, do nothing. So talking to this guy, we him and on. And then the gangsters start coming out of me. Because then I start thinking what good this place could do me. So I told him we'll be back tomorrow. He's got to make a decision tomorrow. And the guy knew I was that serious. The next day we went back. The guy said, oh, go for it. We got the loan out of the bank for 30 G's. I opened up the joint. I had to build it. I built it myself with a guy by the name of Tony Zarelli. Electric, plumbing, everything. I turned into a carpenter, everything. Left the existing frame there, the building, and called it the Beef Barn. Made a pizza place out of it, sandwich place. If I could get 1% out of people that went to Wrigley Park Field, I'd make a ton of money. Plus I could park 16 cars there at the time, $10 a car. That's $160, right? So that's fountain money, tax-free. Then I put one of the camera places on the property. I used to collect rent from them once we built it. So we got the place up, and it was going real good. And then the cops all found out I was there. And they start coming around, bother me. Well, this Robert Allen, he also became a policeman. And I figured, well, I told him, hey, Bob, somebody keeps on breaking their effing windows over here. Why don't you tell your buddies on the force to check it out? I'll do that. But he didn't jump to it. So I laid traps. I slept there. I stood on the roof. But for some reason, they always managed to know when I was there, and they would sneak by and break my windows. We were doing it, not bothering nobody. We were good tenants, nice with the people. My mother did all the cooking in the place along with me. And then one day I said, that's it. The insurance wouldn't insure me no more. For the windows, the signage, the breaking of the signs. I said, fuck this. I says, I'm going to blow this joint up. Collect on the insurance. Now, this would be the first criminal act I'd done. So I told my partner, Robert Allen, oh, no, don't do it. I said, I'll be in Vegas one night. I'm going to go visit Vegas. I says, it'll happen when I'm in Vegas. It's in my name. You got nothing to worry about. No, don't do it. Don't do it. So he thought he talked me out of it. And I said, no, I'm going to do it next day. He said, can I buy you out? I said, Bob, they're going to do. He said, well, I'll just keep it closed. Maybe they don't like you. I said, all right, give me X amount of dollars. Well, let me tell you something. If I had the hindsight, I would have never sold it for that money. I think we got 100G out of it, but we had a lot of money into it. I had a lot of, the work, labor. So I'll get it for you. I'll get a loan at the bank. So he gets the loan at the bank, and I leave. He keeps the posts closed. I heard he knew it. From what I found out later in years, he was going around the back door on me. And he went in with a business guy. I can't think of this guy's name. And they we were buying property around there. They knew that the yuppies were moving in there and the value of the property was going to skyrocket. Me, I still thought like a mug. The guy winds up selling the place for I don't know how many millions of dollars. How many millions of dollars? I heard he's dead. I just found out this about a year ago. A year ago. It's because it was behind me. Could you imagine that? This guy fucked me real good. So, as wise and smart as I was, it could happen to anybody. All right? And that's the story there.
This is from Blue Rich. Hi, Frank. If somebody asked you to do a nice gangster movie like back in the days, the kind of movie you'd want to watch 10 times or more, and you were the main actor, and you had to put a crew of other actors or old buddies together.
All right, cut it short. I got it.
All right, who would you want to work with? Who do you want to do this?
Listen, they missed the boat many years ago, Hollywood. I got a million stories, as you people could see. And they're not stories, they're legitimate. Everything I've done and said is legitimate. But Hollywood, for some reason, didn't find it interesting. So they go on and they do all these movies. Now, I'm not knocking New York, but 90% of these people that do these movies are all out of New York. Chicago does not get the respect and the following they should get. Now, if I was to do a movie, the people I would use in it, Chazz Palminteri, I would use Frank Stallone, of course. He's definitely in my movie. I'd use Walken, Robert Downey Jr. Pesci I would put in the movie, but not as a gangster. Maybe as a guy that's always messing up, doing something wrong. Pacino definitely would be in there. I like Pacino, always liked Pacino. I wouldn't put De Niro in there. He's too typecasted. It's the same facial expressions.
You talking to me?
The same words.
You talking to me?
I'm putting my dislikes aside on him on that.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
I can't think of this guy's name. He just passed away. Danny. Shit. I can't think of his name. If you are smart, you'll figure it out. He's a big face guy, heavy guy. Okay, that's about it I can think of. It would be a winner. I guarantee it. Many people tell me, why did they ever do a movie about you? I tell Nick Pileggi, for the last 25 years, and Nick says it's out of my hands. I can't do it. It's up to the directors and the studios. Now I told him, Nick, it's too friggin' late. I can't even act in the movie. I could be a consultant. It would be a movie that would blow them all out of the water. And I'm not bullshitting you. Just by my following right here. All right? I got a good following. I'm the last man standing. I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
So back to Frank Stallone's question. What was the point that you knew there was no turning back?
Well, when Tony Tony and Joe Lombardo put a contract out on me. That was when I knew there was no turning back. I knew that I was toast, that they were going to kill me, that they wanted me dead. I had no intentions of rolling. I was going to get the electric chair. You know, maybe the law would have changed. I wouldn't have been a repeat offender. Who knows? Look at the way life has changed already. They're letting guys out of jail that committed this, that, and this. I mean, they would have probably freed me, because I'm sure I would have had a connection by now. In jail, they would have knocked me out of there, or before this. So I knew there was no turning back then, Frank. When your best friend turns on you to save his own soul, there's no turning back.
There's a lot of cops that are watching the channel, Frank.
Is that right?
Yeah. You want to do a quick shout out to them?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. You know, after I rolled and all of this bullshit, FBI guys that are retired and all of this stuff, I'm friends with these guys. They're just like you and I. That was their job. Do I find it hard to believe that they buy cups from me? Nah. I get along with these guys. They're no different than you and I. Did I hate them? At one time I did, of course. Do I like them now? They got families, kids. They're family people just like me. I do not find it hard to believe that they purchased my cups. Keep on buying them. You caused me enough aggravation. Don't buy one. Buy one for your grandkids too. Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless. Don't forget to order this cup and go to the other station wherever they got the other products. And they got different things on the back. Street tax, my name, Johnny No Nose, Joey the Builder, whatever you want. But I'm the main guy. Hit the button. Thank you very much. God bless.